If you start doing something different in your life because you believe it's more aligned with who you're becoming or with whatever you're trying to do with your life in general, you better be ready, because your brain is gonna come at you with its full might. Soon after committing to that change or to this new thing, you'll start getting sick of it. You'll start feeling as if you just wanna give up, relapse to this familiar version of yourself that was before you made that change. Regardless of whether you're doing it out of love or out of discipline and commitment, it still works the same way when it comes to this. And at this point, even a small detour could be impactful, because this determines, this orchestrates a shift in your reality. And this works not just on the greatest or biggest of things, but even on the smallest of things. So let me explain, because this is very, very important. When you start doing something different with your life, when you start doing something new in your life, whether it's that you started doing something or that you stopped doing something, so you've adopted a new habit, a new behavior, or you quit or stopped an old habit or a behavior, or you started working on something new, on a new project, towards a new project, or you stopped working towards an old one, it does not matter. What really matters is that for this to apply, is that it has to be coming from a place of honesty, a place of truth to yourself. So it should not be something that you're fundamentally opposed to or that you're not really into. So it shouldn't be something that you're doing just out of fear of what might or might not happen if you do or don't do this which you are currently doing, which you're choosing to do, this transformation that you're causing. So it should just be coming from a place of truth to yourself. And the thing, what happens is that once you keep at it for a few days, once you stay on top of it for a few days, and you're building that momentum, you'll soon start feeling very good about it. Because now you believe in yourself. Now you did what you said you're gonna do, or you did not do what you said you would not do. And you're seeing the potential of it. You're seeing how it's opening different paths, how it's becoming real. You're doing something new, and you're excited because it's unpredictable, and it's creating a change in you. You're feeling different. Your life is about to change. You really connect to it. You feel good, so you feel good. You feel good because you emotionally connect to it. But when you emotionally connect to it, the moment you start feeling good about it, is also the exact moment you start missing your old self, is the moment you start craving a relapse to who you used to be before you made that change. And that's because when you catch the attention of your emotions, you also catch the attention of your brain. And your brain, the ego, hates nothing more than change. And it's gonna do everything possible within its power, and this works in different stages to try and force you to turn back. Whether it seduces you, whether it rationalizes its way, whether it even comes in the image of what you're currently working on, it will do anything possible, because the moment you connect to it emotionally, the moment you start feeling good about it, your emotions feed into your subconscious. Now it means that it's real. It's not just another set of random actions that you're doing or taking. It's not something that you're trying once and then you're gonna let it go. It's not a fluke. It's real. It's serious. This means that you are experiencing an internal shift. When you feel good about it, then you're internally shifting. You're changing internally. And when you change internally, when you experience an internal shift, you're about to experience an external shift. And your brain knows that. This is coded in our subconscious because it's kept track and record of everything that we've experienced. It knows that every time we change internally, an external change follows. Your external reality is simply a reflection of your internal reality. And this is known by your subconscious. And once it realizes that you're firing new neural pathways and your emotions feed into the subconscious, it realizes something is wrong. It's like, hey, what's going on? What's happening there? What are you trying to get at with doing this? Why are you connecting so much to it? This is not something familiar. This is not what used to keep us safe. This is not what we used to make sense. This is not one of our coping mechanisms. This is nothing out of our past. This is nothing that I know the outcome of. And it knows that once you experience this internal shift, it's gonna imprint, project externally, and it does not know what is gonna happen, what it's gonna lead to externally, because your brain is not the source of your consciousness. It simply knows that this is different. It works mechanically, or rather chemically and neurologically. It just follows chemical impulses and neurological impulses. So your brain is not the source of consciousness. It's just a tool, a mechanical tool for you to use, a chemical tool to use, but you are the source of consciousness. This was one of the breakthroughs that led to transforming my intellectual awakening into a spiritual awakening, back in 2018, I guess. I think I've never mentioned this on here, probably, that consciousness, when the theory of evolution was great and everything until it came to consciousness. It really did not connect the dots for me. It did not make any sense. But that's a whole other topic. But once you understand that your brain is not the source of consciousness because it's working against you, how could it work against you? And then through your consciousness, you become aware that it's working against you. It's just following, even if it's better for you to get there. It's just trying to make you stay wherever you used to be. But you, out of your consciousness, you can become whomever you want. You are pure conscious energy and you could choose whatever path you want. So once you overcome those initial stages of resistance by the brain, then you experience that shift. Because now you're emotionally aligned. You shifted completely internally and you did not relapse during that shift. And now you experience an external shift. But what happens is that once it becomes uncertain of where you're going or what you're getting at with whatever you're doing, the brain will start playing deceitful tricks on you. Think about this time, anytime you started, you tried, even you just thought about making a change, whether it's, changing your job, whether it's moving countries, moving cities, or moving houses, or breaking out of a toxic relationship to find a better one. Just the thought of it would send chills and anxiety down to your bones. Your brain cringes at the thought of change and it starts playing all of those tricks. Oh, but how do you know that the alternative is better? How do you know that it's gonna work out? But that's so far-fetched. That requires so much work. I mean, you deserve to rest. You've earned, it starts trying to force you. No, that's not good. That does not work for you. How do you know it's better? And when this does not work, it goes into rationalizing. Oh, but that's so far-fetched. It requires this. Are you sure you're gonna be able to put in all of that effort? Yeah, it seems amazing, but are you sure about doing that? What? But you deserve to rest. You've earned a break. Just skip a day. What? You don't have to put in 3 hours a day. Just put in 1 hour a day. It will do everything, and then it comes in the image of what you're currently doing. It's gonna come in that image of what new thing you introduced in your life. Yeah. Let's even so. If it even works on the smallest of things, like I said, when I first started meditating, it was very hard to sit still. Back in the first time I ever started meditating, and I started doing yoga at the same time. Devotedly, not for stretching purposes, but for spiritual purposes. And when it was very hard to sit still. It was very hard to, the moment I sat down, go stand up, go make your cup of coffee, go eat this, hold your phone, why don't you call that friend? This is so boring. Get up. And when I overcame that initial stage, it would then get into that rationalizing. You probably experienced this if you're meditating, and I would get, okay, why don't you do it laying down instead? Why don't you do it right before bed? And then I would lay down and meditate, and then I would fall asleep before I complete that meditation session. Or why don't you skip a day? It does not matter. You deserve that. You earned that. Why don't you just skip today? And then it knows that the moment you lose the momentum, you repeat the cycle. And that's why you should stay on top of it, resist all of those temptations and all of those seductory mind games, seductive mind games, for you to experience an external shift, to project that internal shift onto your external reality. And then, eventually I would lay down in bed and I would hold my phone, because I'm already gonna meditate while laying down. So I would lay down and I hold my phone for a second, and I would fall asleep before even beginning meditation. And then I was like, I don't like this. And then I just, from that point on, I would meditate sitting up. I would never sleep. Now at this point, I would of course lay down and do it, because I already meditate enough, more than once a day. But yeah, and that's how it works. And then when this all fails, it will come through meditation. It came to me through meditation. Yeah, you want to meditate? Let's meditate. You want to meditate sitting up? Let's go for it. It's amazing. I believe in you. And then the moment I would sit in meditation, the only thoughts that would rush in my brain, because the moment you sit still, all of your thoughts and emotions come rushing for the first, few minutes, 1 or 2, 3. Some people, if you're first starting, it's going to be 5 or 10 minutes. You're just thinking everything's coming up, everything is surfacing up. And then the things that were surfacing up for me are the things that I loved about my old version, about that old version about myself. Remember how amazing, remember how certain things used to be, remember how pleasurable that was, remember how, you used to, you knew exactly what's gonna happen and what's not gonna happen. Remember and remember. It's gonna be a constant. Whatever you're working on is gonna be a constant reminder of your old life. If you're trying to buy a new house, it's gonna tell you, okay, why don't you, okay, yeah, you want to buy a new one, you're very certain, you're very convinced, you're not falling to any of my tricks. Sure, let's go buy a new house, but why don't we buy a better one? Let's upgrade from the choice that you've already made. Let's go to a better location, because it knows you cannot afford it, or it knows that you're gonna start feeling bad because, I cannot afford it, but I really want it. Once you see those locations, once you see those upgraded places, you're gonna start thinking, why can't I make enough money? Why do I have to be so broke? Why do I can't do this? Why? It wants you to reconnect to that bad feeling, to that down feeling. It wants you to reconnect to the emotional constructs of your past, not of that of your future, not of those new ones, not of those new things that you're actually investing your time and yourself in. It wants you so badly to relapse, and eventually you're gonna really want that place, that new place, and then you're gonna ignore that old place that you've already decided on, and then this is way out of your budget and it won't work, and you're gonna feel bad, and eventually you're gonna stop thinking about it, and you're gonna lose momentum. And that's where it gets to you. Okay, once you lose your momentum, let's cope for now. Let's we're gonna figure it out later. Let's go out for a drink, let's go do this, let's just binge watch this, let's stay on our phone the whole day in bed, doing nothing of whatever you were trying to do. It comes even in the image of what you like. You want to shift, you want to move, you want to create this new project. Sure, let's work on that new project, but are you sure this is gonna work? Are you sure that's gonna work? That's so far-fetched. That requires so much effort. And that, I feel, even impacts us on a way deeper level than we can imagine, because it even works just emotionally. It actually works emotionally, because the moment you connect emotionally to that thing, it starts acting up. So it works even on in a mental and emotional way. It's not about the actions you're taking. It's not about the change you're doing in your day. It's about you connecting to a new reality emotionally. And so what happens is that sometimes I would just be thinking, I want you to try this out. Think about your future. Keep thinking about this amazing future you envision for yourself, this future dream reality of yours, until you connect with it, until you become really familiar with it. You start thinking about how you would react, how everything would be like, how people would react, how all of the tiny details are going to be, and eventually you're going to connect with that emotionally. You're aware of it, visualizations, and then you start feeling good about it, really good about it, because you could see the possibilities, you could see the potential, you could see that it's working out for you. You could see yourself getting there now because you believe in it, you believe in yourself. Once you feel good about it, let go of it and go on with your day, because that's what I realized. I go on with my day, and then the moment I come back to it, if I come back to it later that day, See, it should not be a conscious process. So it's not like I'm thinking, oh, I'm gonna test it, but I'm asking you to test it. Just think about it and then go on with your day as if nothing, forget about it. Don't be aware, like, yeah, I wanna see how it's gonna work out when I go back. I wanna see how different I feel about it when I think about it later that night. And what happens is that when I come back to it and think about it later that night, it would feel really bad. I would feel down. I would start getting all of those negative thoughts regarding it. How's it gonna work out? Is it really possible to work out? But it requires so much. How am I gonna even make it? This is so far-fetched. This is so much. This is so demanding. This is so that and this and that. Even with those videos, if I realize an impactful video and I start thinking about how amazing, how it would be for you, how impactful it would be for you and for me, and how much, and then I let it go for a bit, and then I come back to it and I feel so drained out of nowhere. I'm like, come on. And I start thinking, suddenly I'm thinking, is it really gonna work out? Am I really gonna be delivering on my promises? Is it really gonna deliver on what it promises? Am I really gonna be able to put all of those ideas in one video? Why don't I break it into two different videos? Why don't I, remove this and that and that? Why don't I just, let go of it altogether? You see how it works? And I've experienced that. I've noticed that very clearly through observing. Every time I would go and I would come back to it, I would leave it. All that matters is that for the first time you think about it, leave it on good terms. Leave it on good emotions and see how it feels when you come back to it after you've forgotten about it. Because once you leave it on good emotions and good terms, your brain caught onto it. And now it's ready for it. It's expecting this mental work you're gonna put into it the next time, and it's ready with all of its constructs. No, it's not gonna work out. It's a failure. You're a failure. It never works out for you. Why don't you do it? How do you know it's gonna work out? Why it's even better than your reality? You're comfortable. This does not promise comfort. This does not everything. It works. It comes at you with all its might to try to stop this change, because it knows once you emotionally connect to it, once you shift internally, it's gonna project externally, and it does not know in what image it's gonna project externally, and that's why it's doing its best to try and stop you. But once you understand that your brain is not the source of consciousness, that you are your own source of consciousness through your connection to the divine, to the mystical, you have nothing to worry about. Keep at it for a few more days and you're going to experience the shift in regards to that aspect, or in regards to your entire life even. But you have to keep that momentum going and not fall victim to those mind games. Thank you so much for tuning in to another video by AfsConsciousFrequency. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel, because it helps me so much, and it helps this video find its way to many more others who might actually need it.